my name is Jennifer Nguyen, and today I'll be doing my Speech 1 video for Discourse 300. Today I'll be talking about social workers and the different aspects of their community. So, social workers are professionals that play a very big role in assisting groups, communities, and also individuals in restoring their lives to further enhance their capacity for functioning as in a social environment. With this, their career takes a lot of practice and it also requires a great load of knowledge in regards to the development of humans as well as the behavior that humans undergo throughout their life. So, the age range of a social worker definitely ranges, and you could be fresh out of college or you could be way along your road in your career with a doctorate's degree. However, in this aspect, the average social worker is in their 40s. So, a little bit of history of social workers is that the first social work class was actually held in 1898 and it was offered at Columbia University. So, from there, this only increased because everybody wanted to be a social worker apparently. And with this need to address the problem in our society, this has further continued and brought many social problems into light. Also, a very influential social worker is Jane Addams. She was actually um, one of the founders of the United States Settlement House movement to help find and build houses for those in poor urban areas. So, this allowed volunteers of middle classes to help their low income communities suffer less. With this, the process of becoming a social worker takes 3 different steps. So, first, you need to get your education, and with this, you need to graduate with an accredited degree in social work education. You can either get your bachelor's, master's, or doctorates, and after this, you must complete a minimum of hours in a certain supervised field work. So, this would include following a social worker around in a specific field that you would like to work in, or just doing your own field work with a supervisor. And after this, you must obtain your licensure to further your career as a professional social worker. These social workers also have many roles in their daily lives. So, this includes having certain skills. So, active listening to your clientele whenever they're telling you certain things. Like, you need to be able to listen and jot things down into your notes to be able to report it later. You also must have social perceptiveness and also be able to critically think. So with this, you have to have logic, reasoning, and you should be able to problem solve very complex things. Like, let's say you need to decide whether you report a certain case or whether you can find a solution for the problem yourself. Social workers also have a lot of administrative duties, and this includes collaborating with a lot of professionals such as physicians or police officers, stuff like that, or even like teachers. They have to be able to advocate for their clientele, and they also are investigators. So you can see social workers be investigators a lot in child abuse cases and neglect cases. Social workers can also have a lot of specializations. So, one specialization would be dealing with either a family, a child, or even school. So, with this, they would provide assistance for those certain things, and they would also be able to advocate to improve the social functioning in those environments. A social worker could also deal with public health, where they would help those that are diagnosed with diseases, either like life threatening diseases or even like subtle ones. And they could just help the person cope with their disease and find a way to, live a normal life that um, they wouldn't be able to live before getting help. Another one would be addictions and mental health. So, in this aspect, they would help by providing support and services for those that are suffering. Social workers also exhibit a lot of patterns. So, in their dress, you'll often see social workers in very professional clothing so that clientele can be very confident in them whenever they're meeting them. And a lot of times they're dealing with, court cases, stuff like that, going to hospitals, talking to clients. And so you just have to be very professional and businesslike in those environments. And also, when you see a social worker, they tend to seek to strengthen relationships with those around them. So they also just want to enhance the well being of a community. With different social workers and the social worker community in general, there are a lot of key tensions. So there are two different dilemmas, according to socialworker.com, that a lot of social workers can um, exhibit. So the first one would be absolute dilemma. This is when two or more ethical standards apply to a situation but are in conflict with each other. So an example of this would be a social worker who is in a rural community trying to help a patient or a client who has a certain disorder, let's say like agoraphobia, and she just has limited resources, so she wouldn't be able to help the client as um, to the best that she could, but she would definitely try. And then another one would be approximate dilemma, which is a complicated situation that is in need of a decision. However, this could involve problems with the law or policies. This would be like reporting a child abuse case. So, in conclusion, there are very important aspects in the social working community, and we need social workers. They help individuals overcome many difficult circumstances and situations such as abuse, poverty, addiction, disabilities, and mental illnesses, and the list just goes on and on. However, these workers are found in every asset of the community, including schools, hospitals, mental health clinics, and other corporations. So there is a great need for them to, just function in our community. So that is my speech, and yeah.